Going to be Will Johnson. He went a little bit lower than expected because of injury, but if he can be healthy, this dude is a dominant lockdown, shutdown corner. Imagine what Calais Campbell is going to do for guys like Walter Nolan, who was the Cardinals' first-round pick out of Ole Miss. This defense could make a huge leap because of the young talent, but also the experience of guys like Calais Campbell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals in tonight's video. This NFC West division is looking very nice. I find the Cardinals very fascinating. I think I'm a little bit higher on Kyler Murray than it seems like most of social media is here. But I was reading an interesting article, Bleacher Report, something like that. Brad Gagnon, I think it was Bleacher Report. And they were going off of win-loss, over-under win-loss predictions. And they had the over at 8.5 for the Arizona Cardinals. And I 100,000% agree. Like I said, this NFC West division is looking... I got a comment even the other day. It kind of does feel almost like the NFC North of last year, at least the hype they had heading into it. But, Arizona last season, they doubled their win total from 4 in 2023, and they had 8 in 2024. And, there was that really nice stretch of games in the middle of the season. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr. entering year 2. You've got McBride entering another season. Trey's really already one of the better tight ends in the National Football League. And it's probably not even further than 3, and you could make an argument for any number of those. The defense is the really big one in this. Like, I get it. When people talk about the Arizona Cardinals, it's usually only revolving Kyler Murray and how he's inconsistent and all this stuff. We all remember Kyler from a few years ago. Actually, maybe people don't, because the guy was an absolute stud. Like, just 3 or 4 years ago, he was the number 4 ranked passer in the National Football League. Obviously, he came into the NFL with a bang. But to me, I get it. He likes playing video games. I get it. People love making fun of that. I just like Kyler Murray. I like the way he plays. And the biggest thing is that he just stayed healthy last year. So I'm excited about that. Where you had the concerns, or where you had the issues rather last season, was the defense. And they improved so much, whether it was free agency or the NFL draft. They also played one of the league's toughest schedules last season. That's going to ease up. They also had some defensive misfortune. I guess you could say that about most teams in the NFL, but they finished 7th in adjusted games lost, and I'm excited about this team. So folks, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals. We'll make it quick in tonight's video. It is my birthday, and we're about to hit the movies and a nice little dinner after there, but I like talking Cardinals, man. I like talking Kyler. I love watching his highlights. And like I said, the biggest thing for me is that he just stayed healthy. So the biggest weakness for Arizona is probably the defensive pass rush last season. There was a lot of progress in the secondary, but the pass rush was still just kind of a liability last year. They finished with the 2nd worst PFF pass rush grade in the league, and they also ranked in the bottom 8 in both pressure rate and pass rush win rate. So when we look at some of these moves, like highlighted by Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles, you see Dalvin Tomlinson coming to town. You see through the draft Will Johnson and Walter Nolan. All of these guys are going to have big-time impacts on this team next season. And we weren't even really going to talk too much about the secondary, but guys like Max Melton really intrigue me. I like Garrett Williams. Obviously, now we're about to talk about Will Johnson, so we'll save that for a minute. But, you got Budda Baker still, Jalen Thompson. I'm just very big on Max Melton. I like the way he plays. I should have done a little bit more digging on statistically how his 2024 season is, but I know people weren't loving Arizona's defense last year, and that move, like Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Walter Nolan, Josh Sweat, all these new additions, it's going to make a difference for Jonathan Gallen, just kind of going back to his Philadelphia days. And obviously the biggest rookie isn't even their 1st round pick, Walter Nolan, who also is going to be a dog. But Will Johnson, I remember Raiders fans wanting him with the 6th overall pick. And there's no way that the Cardinals, or really anybody else, anticipated Will Johnson falling all the way to the 2nd round, but I know they're definitely not complaining. Over the past 3 seasons at the University of Michigan, he had a 91.3 PFF coverage grade, which was 5th amongst all Power 4 cornerbacks. And when you look at the Arizona Cardinals last season, their outside corners ranked just 26th in PFF coverage grade. So really the same thing. I guess maybe Walter's banged up right now, but Will Johnson came in with injury concerns, I guess is the word here. If he stays healthy, the guy's going to be a beast. He's going to be a stud. He already is a star, and if he just stays healthy, I'm sure it will be a quick acclimation to the National Football League. So then we look a little bit more into the offense. James Conner was a dog last season. I also liked Trey Benson, but they were at their best running the football. They were wearing defenses down. They finished 9th in PFF rushing grade. They were a solid and above average run blocking team as well. And when you look at James Conner, I mean, he was like a top 10 undisputed running back in the NFL last season. So you still have James Conner. You still got Marvin Harrison. You've still got Trey McBride. You got a healthy Kyler Murray. Well, just based off pure development, the team's going to improve. Now, I do know, based on whenever I've made Cardinals videos in the past, I do know people have some concerns, or I would say, like, to put it in a different way, I think people are still a little bit adamant, or, a little hesitant giving the OC Petzing. I don't think people fully believe it. It's kind of like, we'll believe it when we see it. So I do understand with that. One thing that could change the trajectory of Arizona next season is obviously going to be wide receiver Michael Wilson. You've got Marvin Harrison, who people, just like Kyler, really love to rag on his rookie season in a weird way. He's ascending towards star trajectory. You've got Trey McBride kind of already emerged as one of the league's top tight ends. And so you've got James Conner, you've got Trey Benson. If they can get a third playmaker in that receiving room, it's going to be Michael Wilson, and it really, more than likely, at least in my opinion, it's going to happen. 64.5 PFF receiving grade in 2024. It's kind of similar to his 2023 rookie campaign, but I did find this interesting. He failed to top 60 receiving yards in any game after week 5, so I'm expecting a leap from Michael Wilson. Even if it's technically not statistically, I'm anticipating a nice year from Michael Wilson, and I know Cardinals fans, you guys would probably agree. If he can ascend, this is going to be a pretty scary offense. Because when we look at this offensive line, it's not bad. Maybe Isaiah Adams at right guard, maybe left guard Evan Brown. Maybe there's some guard concerns there, but you've got a really good center. You've got 2 really good tackles. Paris Johnson's an absolute stud. But in the last few seasons, Arizona's really focused on developing and progressing this offensive line. So you bring in Jonah Williams in free agency last season, and he did just see a limited action last year, but I still think he's a dependable option at right tackle. The other side of the football, like we said, former number 6 overall draft pick Paris Johnson Jr. had a huge year 2, earning an impressive 81 about PFF overall grade, which was top 12 in the NFL in offensive tackles. And your center's very good at running as well, or run block, I should say. But I don't know, man. If Arizona, I feel like this isn't necessarily true, but if a team can get to 10 wins, then more likely than not, you're in the playoffs. And it just kind of feels like I said, a really good NFC West. I like Kyler, and I think Jonathan Gannon's about to get this defense playing towards top 10 in the National Football League with all these new additions. So I'm bullish on the Arizona Cardinals, but folks, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Give me a loose win-loss record down below, and we'll see you soon. Peace.